What's going on, everyone? So today I'm going to be I want to talk about freelancing. Because I'm in the middle of a freelance job and it's going interesting, and wanted to talk about some of the things I've learned about freelancing, just from some of the work that Caratoons and I have done, some of the work that I've done, some of the mistakes I've seen, some of the mistakes I've made. So I thought that'd be a fun thing to talk about today. And at the same time, I'm going to be working on Space Chicks characters again. I was going to start building them in Adobe Illustrator. I really like working in Adobe Illustrator because I like the way there's something about the way it handles the some of the way the tools handle. I really like the way I get a lot of sketching done in it. I can the object mode that it has. It's what I use anyways to build a lot of the rigs and characters. So it's just like a good starting point for me anyways to just sketch these characters out, get them to where I want them to be, and then I can just start building the pieces and stuff. Oh, hey, what's going on? Dirk Eric Schultz, what's going on, man? Welcome to my stream. I'm so happy you're here, man. Good to meet you. Good to finally, I guess, talk to you virtually, in in person as it could be through the internet. Good to see you, man. Welcome to the chat. Welcome. Free 67. Good to see you again, man. Welcome as well. Good to have you here. Let's see here. Let me just quickly pop out this chat here. There we go. Now I'm looking at the right place. Now I'm looking in the right direction. So yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and hide this and get started. I think I have this saved. So let's go ahead and quit out of this. Free up some memory here. So as you can see, I've already started kind of doing some sketching and stuff. But I really, like I said, I really like Illustrator. There's so much more I can do with the program. I think I like the ability to zoom out. Like all this stuff turns into objects. I'm drawing in the wrong brush right now. I'm drawing in the blob brush. I just need to be drawing in the brush tool. When I'm doing storyboards, whoops. That's not the kind of brush I want. Let me bring up my brushes. And it has been a long time since I've worked in this program. Just mostly because all that I was doing at Warner Brothers was working in Adobe Animate, which is a really good program to work in. And I like doing storyboards more in Adobe Animate than Storyboard Pro. I did a test recently for a job where it was all in Storyboard Pro, and it was very similar kind of the work that I was doing at Warner Brothers, which was building animatics. I didn't have to add any. I had to add sound, but it was all kind of like pre-cut for me. But there was a way that the timeline works with Adobe Animate. With Storyboard Pro, there's a lot of cool things. It's a really good storyboarding program, because each panel you have different layers you can work in. You can add different effects. You can draw in different modes, whether in vector mode or bitmap mode. You can have your text. You can add your action. There's so much you can do in that program that's amazing for storyboards. But I think for doing like these almost animated animatics, Adobe Animate has, I think, a little leg up on it as far as like functionality, because you're dealing with keyframes on a timeline and you can have different layers. And I don't know, like it might be also because I might be biased, which I completely admit. I might completely be biased but mostly because I've worked a lot in Adobe Animate, and not as much in Storyboard Pro. I've done storyboards in Storyboard Pro, and that's what I prefer it to do. If I'm going to just do storyboards, I'm just doing flat out boards, Storyboard Pro all the way. But if I'm going to be doing like an animatic, I love Adobe Animate for that. Like I said, I might just be biased against it. I might be biased because of my experience, but it's a good program. Both programs are really good. I'm glad they're available, because there's so much like I can just do That's a lot easier. So let's see here. I'm gonna set my brush. I don't want that big of a brush. Let's go like a 3 point, and then let's name this. Let's call it Bill's brush. There we go. And then let's make it. Let's go 3 points, and let's make it dependent on my pressure. Actually, you know what? I think 5 points might work. Let's check out 5 points. See what 5 points brings me. Ooh, that's kind of nice, but it's a little too thick for me. So let's go back and make it 3 points. 3 points I think was a good one. There we go. Oh, much better. Perfect, 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 perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's make her like a light color, like pink or something like that. And we'll go ahead and start drawing on a different layer. I like the freedom. I like the as far as working in this program. There's something. Oh, you're heading out here, Dirk. Well, hey, Dirk, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming by. Stop by soon. If you want to see the rest of this stream, I'll post it up on my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search Bill Drastel, and I'll have it up there later today. So thanks for coming by, man. So it's good to see you. I will see you on Facebook. All right, so let's see here. So yeah, like I was sketching her out yesterday and today, and there was I think I sketched out her shapes yesterday. I'm kind of working on a good way to construct her, and I think it's we build out where the weight is, where her structure is, and we kind of just build it out from there. I like being able to just sort of like sketch these out, stay nice and loose, keep my shapes feeling good. And the cool thing about working in Illustrator is I can just delete these lines, and that's one of the cool functionalities that you can get. Oops, let's lock that layer. It's this object drawing mode that's really handy, and they have it in Storyboard Pro and Adobe Animate. And actually, it was a big thing to learn when I was doing, or not really thing to learn, but it was a new way of thinking, because before I was doing my storyboards, I was just drawing with with the brush tool in Adobe Animate. And one of the things I needed to be able to do when I was working on these boards at Warner Brothers was I needed to be able to go in, maybe if I needed to move the eyes, move the head, move different aspects of the character that was contained like within a shape, or I could do that by utilizing the object drawing capabilities. And you can't do that when you're just doing with artwork. If I wanted to make changes, I had to like erase it or select different things. It made things a lot more difficult, and it made it harder to edit. If I wanted to do some animation or just do like some subtle eye acting, like, oh, she's looking over here, she's looking over there. It made it much easier to use that object drawing mode, because then I could group things, I could break things into like a rig, and it gave me, I think the name of the game was definitely like having more options, and that worked wonders. It did a really good job. I know a couple other artists, like, they break their characters into like more groups, sometimes down to like the eyes and the ears and the nose, the features, like how different groups. And I know that was something that was kind of recommended or asked by the showrunner. I'll be honest, I didn't do all that. I did enough because I hated having to dive down into so many groups. Like, if I wanted to adjust something or redraw the eyes, or change something, it was so hard to dive down through like 5 different groups just to access the pupils or access the and it's like, what, it's just quicker for me just to draw it inside one main head symbol. And so that's how I end up kind of working, and it worked out. I never really got any notes on, hey, you're not doing this right or anything. So I guess I skated by the rules. A Free 67 calls me a slacker. I guess, yeah. I guess I was a bit of a slacker. Um, I, I was I was being the bad boy. I was kind of breaking the rules a little bit. But it ended up working. I think the the thing that ended up working the best was just having my files organized well. Um, if the files were organized well and someone else could jump inside and access everything, that kind of made the difference on what I was doing. That's where everything began to shine because it was um because remember because the process that we were doing these boards and these creating these animatics was very much a collaborative um process. I mean, I would my board might get passed on to three or four different people. I would do a pass on it. The directors would do a pass on it. Our showrunner or one of the higher up producer story directors would do a pass on it, and so it had to be you had to keep that in mind that there'd be multiple people working on your art, and so you had to kind of think about that as you were going through and doing your work. And I think like that's been how I normally think about things. Not trying to toot my own horn. I've been doing it right the whole time. No, it's just a good way of thinking, especially when you're working in a production atmosphere like that. Is that you're working on a big team, and your stuff's gonna get passed on. So it's a good idea to kind of like make things easier. I always like to talk with any if I when I was working in games, I like to talk with any programmers. Any if I was doing art and I had to pass work on to an animator. I would talk to them. Um, and plus, I was an animator too, so it's like how would I like to see this file delivered to me? Is how I would want to deliver it to someone else. So it was so having it organized, having it um having things organized, having things easy to find, not too many layers to jump through, really helps just in the long run. I think it really makes things go smoother. And I don't know. I don't know if anyone liked me for it, but it definitely helps. It definitely makes a difference. I think I could be completely wrong. So I'm liking this for Sephi. I'm thinking maybe I think I might make the eyes bigger. Let's make the eyes a little bit bigger. Oop, come on. My keyboard is not working with me today. I think I need to maybe start looking to invest in a new one because my keys are getting stuck. It's every time. You know what? Maybe I'll just take these and I'm gonna be lazy again. Oh, come on. Where's my bounding box? Do I have to show it? Ah, I gotta show it. There we go. Someone's gonna call me a slacker again in the chat. Let's see here. Free67 says, "I missed your first stream. Did you talk about working there during it?" Oh, are you talking about Warner Brothers? Yeah. Yeah, I can do a little recap. It was like yeah, I talked the first video Free67 I uploaded to my YouTube channel. Which I need to put a link up on my Twitch channel description. But the link is huge. There's got to be a way I can shorten that link down to just be like youtube.com/Bill Drastel or something like that. But yeah, I can reiterate some of the stuff I said. But yeah, check out that video if you want to see. If you want to see what I talked about there. I'm trying to think what I did talk about. Mostly, yeah. I mean, it was a great experience. I learned so much. Um, yeah, I definitely need to add some. Free C7 says add to your bio below. I definitely got to do that. I'm gonna definitely add that to my bio. It was such an amazing experience. I've said that so many times. I'm gonna say I'll keep saying it because it was a great. I worked with some of the coolest people. The producers that I was working with were amazing. The team that I worked on were just the best, nicest people. Yeah, I mean, I can't stress enough just how awesome it was. But one of the things uh, one of the things I learned about while I was there was how I approach things. Um, I was one of the things I kept getting was I would get feedback. I would work on a scene, I would work on a sequence, and I would get feedback, and most of the time, the feedback I would get was good. I'd get hey, this really liking the way this sequence is coming out, really like the way this is going. Um, and one of the problems that we had on the show was that something would get changed. Like I would work on the sequence. I'd work with it either with the director or the showrunner or with someone higher up on me. Um, I would work on this sequence, and then the whole thing would get changed, and um, it did. To be honest, it was frustrating. That was one of the frustrating parts, was to have that happen. Now, granted, like I said, the whole thing was a collaborative. It was a collaborative endeavor. So, um, it did make sense for me to get upset because in the end, um, in the end, it was kind of like everything that was built before it built up to the final result. So if a part of my board got changed, the better way to look at it, I was like, well, it got changed not because there was something necessarily wrong with my board, but it was because just a better idea was thought of, or a stronger idea was thought of. Um, like, but I mean, it's easy to kind of, it's understandable for a situation like that to get frustrating, to get stressful. Um, but so what I ended up kind of thinking was like, well, there's got to be something I can do to, I want to improve still. I want to find some motivation here. I want to find a way to get better. And so I sat down with one of the directors, and well, I sat down with both directors, and then with our third director too. And I just kind of asked, like, what can I do to get better? How can I improve? What can I do? And what I was learning, what I learned, and this was an awesome experience, was that I learned kind of like a little bit about how I was approaching the storyboards, and I learned how I could get better at it. And it was an awesome opportunity, and I was really fortunate to have one of my directors really sit down with me. We had a sequence we worked on together, and he really helped me, like, really push it. And it turned. I mean, I can't wait till the show comes out, and then I can share it. Like, I can't wait to share this board sequence I did, or at least point it out or something like that. Because we were, it's a great sequence, and because the way I would approach the boards beforehand was that it's like, I've got my script, and um, I know what I need to do, and I need to get this done. I need to get done quick. So let's shoot through as many. Let's just plow through and get it done. Get it done, and that would work. That would work. Um, but what I learned was that I needed to slow down. I needed to slow down and really suss out the scene that was happening. What was actually going on? What was the feelings of the characters? A lot of times, because I was in the mindset of, like, I gotta draw as many poses as I can. But if anything, it wasn't that I needed to draw more poses. I needed to nail the poses. So I needed to just slow down. And that's where sketching out a loose, just sketching out a loose version of the characters, that were emotive, simple versions, really worked, because I could focus on having something down, having something on the screen, but then really put that extra um, thinking into it. I could put that extra brain power into what the scene was going, and really, and it really added to it. The boards I started doing after that just were just even better. Like the acting was better, the pacing, the timing was better. Um, it wasn't that my drawings got better or like I could, it wasn't that at all, or my style radically changed. It was just, it was the way I was working became smarter. And yeah, it totally changed how I was looking at my boards and how I was approaching them. And it was the, like, honestly, I can't, it was an awesome, that was the best time I had, was just getting, like, I feel like I reached a new, like, I don't want to say level, and I was just about to say I reached a new level, but just like a new, just understanding of what the job was I needed to do, and had so much. It was like that was the best part about working there, because it was like, I was challenged with a situation that wouldn't have happened just working on my own, but it was, I mean, like I said, I couldn't. It was the best learning I've ever done. It was so awesome. And then yeah, I can't wait for the show to come out, because I definitely did some of my best work on there, and I'm very, really happy about that. Um, let's see here. Free 67 asks, "Did you work with Milo, or at least see him?" And Karen responded, "Yes. Milo's office is right down the way. Yeah. Milo was on the show next to us. He's working on Scooby Doo. So I didn't get to see him that much, but every once in a while I'd pass by his office and I'd wave hi. When I first started working there, I took him out to lunch to say thank you for giving me a recommendation for the job. And he's like the coolest guy. Like he's super nice. During my first stream back, I told him thank you, and I thank you again, Mike. You're the best. Um, but yeah, he's a super nice guy. You know, like he gave me some really good advice. That's one of the reasons why I was really excited. I really wanted to push to get back into streaming. Um, Streaming for me helps give me motivation. It keeps me working on something. It's easy for me to get discouraged and down on myself. Um, and streaming is a way to kind of like it's like hey, you know what? You can't sit down. You can't no, just watching videos all day. You need to get up and do something, because you're streaming today and you're gonna have a lot of fun, and that's why you want to keep doing it. And that motivation helps me keep going, and working, having this short to work on, there's something that's very that's gives you confidence when someone says, even if you're unemployed, even if you're not working, to say, oh, I'm working on this cool short, I'm working on this, I'm working, to say that you have something going on is satisfying. I've got, I'm streaming, I'm I'm teaching on the side. I've got, there's something that's mentally, I don't know, like empowering, like to say that. And that was one of the advice he gave me. He said, oh, if anyone asks what you're doing, you're working on your short. Even if you haven't done anything, you're working on it. And it's like, and it's true. And it's like, that was really awesome advice. And so again, thank you, Mike. Let's see here. Who we have in the chat going on here? We've got Bat Monkey. Bat Monkey's here. What is going on? How's it going, Bat Monkey? Let's see here. Oh, Free 67 is sharing the loop de loop. Awesome. Which one did you share? That looks like it's the loop de loop monthly competition. I have to click on that link, but my browser's not open right now, so I'll have to do that later. Let's see. Anything else going on in the thing? Let's see here. Oh yeah, there. Oh, you guys are talking about loop de loop. Okay. Um, let's see. You guys talking about art and animation challenges. Yeah, there's some really good ones out there. I gotta say, one of these days I want to try and get involved with one of those reanimate things that they do. I almost thought about. I was about to get involved with. What was the release recent one they did? There was like a Dragon Ball one. I was thinking about maybe signing up for that, but I just had too much going on at the time, and there was no way I could have gotten it done. Oh no, that's right. It was the Dover Boys, the Dover Boy competition, or the Dover Boy reanimate, and that just looked like so much fun. I love that old Dover Boy cartoon, and oh, I was thinking about it, but I had way too much going on, um, at the time, so I couldn't really commit to it, and I'm glad I didn't do it. But like there was some awesome work done on that. I watched that cartoon with my kids, and they just laughed and laughed and laughed. So, anyways, so what I so let me start on the topic that I wanted to talk about today, and that's freelancing. Um, there's freelancing I mean, I have nothing but respect for everyone that freelances because for the longest time I had so much trouble getting myself motivated to do any freelancing. Like my the thing I was telling myself, as I repeat myself, my the thing I would tell myself is that, oh, I'm bad at working from home, or I can't stay motivated. And that was that was the wrong thing to tell myself, because that's just killing my motivation. That's just killing my productivity. Every time I would say that, I just think like, oh my gosh, what an idiot I was. I was such a dingus. What a dingus I was. Oh, that's a fun expression for Martha. Um, it's there's a lot of confidence that you want to have for freelancing, but there's lots of things that you want to keep in mind while doing it. One of the things that we learned, which was awesome when we did the USC project, is that USC was an awesome client to work for. Um, like there was no reason to feel weird or anything. They were accommodating. They were upfront. They would pay on time. If more work was needed to be done, they would say, oh yeah, we'll pay for it, no problem. Let's get this done. And they were very helpful along the way. And I'm learning is that that was like that is rare to find in a client in any sort of freelancing you're doing. Um, what Karen and I learned from that experience though was a bunch of things that I'm glad we're continuing to do going forward. We learned how to make a cost estimate. We for a current freelance thing we're looking at. We broke you break down the work that you're gonna do. If like it's gonna be we're producing some short animations, and so we break down each step. I need to storyboard. I need to do character design, prop design, background design. I need to build all those assets. We need to animate it, and then we need to composite it all and add sound effects. And you break those down and figure out how many hours you think it's going to take depending on how big the project is. So if it's like a 30-second thing, a 2-minute thing, a 6-minute thing, figure that out and figure out what steps you need to do. Break it down. Hop on Excel and make a chart and break it down into component costs and how many hours it's going to take. Now, hours is different than how many days you're going to take to get it done. Hours, like we always factor like, okay, if I'm working on this 8 hours, then that's like a day, and then factor that into a schedule, because you'd never know what's going to happen while you're working, and so factor that in. So think about, okay, if I'm saying this is going to cost, if this is going to take 16 hours worth of work, which is about 2 full work days, then give yourself a buffer in there. Say, okay, when you write up a schedule, say you're going to take 2 to 3 days and spell all that out. Spell everything out in detail. So spell out this is how long, this is how many hours, this is my hourly rate, and this is how much it's going to cost. And all those are estimates. And we break all those costs down. Let's see here. Bat Monkey. Isn't crazy you were just saying you want to do more storyboarding and sent you that link, Bill? I hope and pray that works out for you. Oh, yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. I got some info on that, and so I'll let you know what's going on with that, Bat Monkey. So when you're doing, break it all down, get it all listed, and then be specific. Say it's gonna cost me this. This is how much it costs. This is how much the hourly is. Because remember, if you're working on a project, you might have to bring people in. You might have to pay for that. So remember to always include whatever costs you need. Because you need to, and just be honest about it up front. I think a lot of times it's easy to kind of worry that if the client comes back to you and says, "Oh, we don't have that budget." Well, if they don't have the budget, then say, "Well, here's what we can do in your budget, but remember, just those are the costs. Those are all the costs spelled out." And once send them that estimate. If they okay with the estimate, then send them a contract and specify how the payment system is going to work. In a contract that I recently wrote up for us, we specify that there's an upfront cost that needs to be paid for storyboard work. Right as soon as the contract is signed, we need to have payment made right up front. The costs need to be paid up front for the storyboard. That way, it's like there's skin in the game. We know that they're a reliable client, and they know we're reliable because we're working, and we'll have that storyboard to them within a couple of days. And then don't do any work until contracts are signed and that first payment is paid. There's some wiggle room. Not everything works perfectly. A current client that we're working with, I've done the storyboards before we had the contract signed or payment up front done first, but I haven't delivered anything. I'm not delivering those boards until contracts and first payment are done. And you have to just stick with your guns. Stick to your guns on that, because you're giving them, that's a courtesy you're giving to them. You're being upfront, and you're providing a contract. They wouldn't want to work under a contract, I'm sure. So you don't work without a contract, and spell out how the things are going to be paid. We always spell out how revisions are going to be handled, because in the past, you'll have clients who will say you'll turn something in, and then you'll watch your project die of 1,000 cuts. And the client has the ability to make whatever changes they want. This is their product. This is their project. So let them know that And so we always tell our clients, look, your first round of notes. So we're going to turn in storyboards. You turn in your storyboards, and that first round of notes, that first initial round of notes, you look at it and say, "Oh, this isn't working. This isn't working." That's totally free, because that's expected. Always expect to get notes. You're going to get notes. You're not going to do something perfect right off the bat. If it does, that's a rare occasion that you do something and it's not going to get notes. You're going to get notes. So, I'm not going to charge the client for that first round of notes. So we send them a board. They say, "Oh, I really like this. I don't like this. Can we change this?" We discuss the notes, and we specify what's being done. And then once that first round of notes is done, we get that done. We turn in the next round, and if there's any more notes after that, then we charge extra hours onto that thing. So whatever, if it's more notes on the storyboard, then any work done after that first round, we'll just add extra onto the invoice at the end. If there's no more notes, then we can move on to the next step. And so we keep moving and you keep going like that, and you just keep everything honest and upfront. Okay, I'm doing this. We're working on this now. Oh, right now we're addressing notes. And then let them know, okay, now you've acquired, this took me an extra 3 hours to do these notes for the second round. We'll add that to the invoice. Keep everything up front, and that just works better. There's no reason to try and hide the costs or anything like that. That just gets you into trouble. It's just easier to just be upfront and honest about everything. I'm not saying like people lie, but it's easy to kind of like, because you want to get, it's easy to get into a people pleasing sort of mode, and so you want everything to be happy and good and nice, and don't fall into that trap. Just keep it all up front. If there's notes, awesome, we'll handle the notes. If you know, and just handle the notes, do it, and just talk with them the whole way, communicate. That's the best thing. And I think, and plus you have that contract to fall back on when they say, "Oh no, wait a minute, what's happening?" Well, you say, "Well, this is what was specified in the contract. Here it is." It's, I mean, that's the best thing I think that we've discovered is writing our own contract. It's like, oh, here it is. We spell it all out. We even said like we don't work weekends, we don't work holidays. And it's like that's all in the contract, and so it helps keep ourselves sane, because I don't want to work my butt off for someone else's project. I'll work my butt off for my own project. I don't want to work my butt off for someone else's project. I'm going to work hard on someone else's project. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to kill myself, and I don't want to be put in that position. So it's almost just, it's sometimes best to just slow down on everything. Keep it slow. If you get an email, wait on to respond to it. Just keep everything slow, but keep everything going. Respond, talk to people. And I think that works out best. I mean, that's just good business sense. I mean, not really business sense, but it's just good sense. Like, it makes sense to have everything spelled out. I would want to have everything spelled out if I was taking on a contract, or if I had a plumber coming over and he spelled out everything that he was going to do. I would love that. That would be great. Let's see here. What's going on in the chat? I've been ignoring the chat for a little bit. Let's see here. You're no longer Bat Monkey. You're now Pickle Nick. Oh, Pickle Nick. Welcome, Pickle Nick. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see here. Pickle Nick says, "Yeah, everyone is working for the weekend. You don't want to work on the weekend." Yeah, I mean, work. I mean, if there's a tight deadline, I've asked for a deadline. Find out how soon this needs to get done. If there's a tight deadline and that's going to require you to work extra hours, let them know up front that, okay, well, this is a tight deadline. I'm going to have to add more hours. This is going to add to the cost of what's being done. If there's no deadline, then charge your normal hours. And don't give on those costs. Those are your costs. Unless you're getting something extra from the client that coops up from those costs, just be on. Just be honest and say, if they really want you, like, oh, can you look at these costs and maybe there's any way to look it down? Just say, well, take a look at it, and then think about it. But yeah, most of the time, stick to your guns on that cost. And a lot of times you can save yourself a headache if the client backs out. Well, good. That client wasn't ready for you. Keep it all professional. Keep it all eye on the level, and you'll end up thanking yourself for doing that. It's very what's the word, alleviating. To kind of like do that, because then you're not doing anything deceptive. You're not doing anything under the radar. You're keeping everything on the up and up, and there's confidence in that. There's strength in that, because then well, hey, I did all this, and here's all spelled out, and you're good. And those are just that's not even good business practice. I feel like it's just good practice. If for anything, just do it that way. I've been talking so much. I'm just yapping my gums here. But I love talking about this stuff, so I guess that's why I'm doing so much talking here. But I wanted to do some more Cephi poses. So let's see here. I think I'm liking Cephi starting off as like a big circle here. But yeah, do you guys have any questions about freelancing? I know a couple of the people we have in the chat, I know personally done freelance, are working on freelance, whether not necessarily animation, but other things. Yeah, what are you guys' experience in all this? What have you guys what any issues you guys have had? Any questions? Feel free. I mean, shoot them. Ask away. Let's see. Free 67 says you do freelance basically, but in 3D. That's awesome. I like 3D is 3D is a whole different world to me. A lot of times I look at 3D and some of that stuff is like it's it's wizard magic. It's like coding to me. Like it's all wizard speak. You know, I think Sephi's poses are mostly just her gawking in fear. But I think I'm liking keeping her head round like this. It feels better with her character. Let's see here. Let's do let's see. Not so Free 67 says not doing it in animation but solid surface. Oh, so what like does that mean you're doing is that for like is that for like building projects or I don't yeah, what does that mean? Like specifically if you're talking like solid surface, are you talking like modeling? What is that? I'd love to hear more about what you do, Free. Mixtape Comics says always make sure your contracts lay out your editors, clients' responsibilities as well, payment plans, turnaround on responses, etc. Exactly. Yes. No. Make sure that's all spelled out. Mixtape Comics is absolutely right. Oh, kill fees. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I haven't had that be an issue, but you're absolutely right, Mixtape. Um, a client has the right to kill the project, but that might be income you're looking to count on. And if they, I haven't been in that situation, so that's probably why I didn't think about it. But yeah, Mixtape Comics is absolutely right, and Mixtape Comics actually make. I mean that's your job. You've been doing comics for a long time, and so that is some good piece of advice right there. You're absolutely right. They should be in there, and that's you. And like I said, there's a lot you can learn by writing your own contracts. Like we what we ended up doing was we had a contract that we had gotten from an animation studio that we had worked for, and we kind of used that contract as a template. We went through we kept a lot of the language about the like the where the rights are kept for the rights are kept with the client. And you can always bring those contracts to a different point. You can add or take away what you want in there, but that language you want to throw in there. Put that language in the contract. Write that contract yourself and write what you think is fair. And Mixtape Comics is absolutely right about a kill fee. Um, that is, you're right, because yeah, if they killed the project and that was income you needed to have, yeah, that's gonna hurt. Let's see here. Free 67 says buildings, props, signs. Oh, okay, so that's for like oh, you work for a racing simulator. Oh, awesome. Oh, very cool. Let's see here. Pickle Nick says, "I read contracts. I just do I need contracts. You just do verbal agreements. But I do little logos and T-shirts here and there. Just little extra funds. My bread and butter is doing multimedia graphics for the U.S. Army. Oh, very cool, man. That's right. Yeah, you've been posting. I've seen. I follow you on Facebook, and yeah, you posted some awesome graphics lately that you've worked on. They've been awesome to see. Yeah, I mean, I can understand like if you're working with if you're working for someone if you're just doing like a small job like I was just doing animation for a friend. I don't know. I mean, use your best judgment. I would think you'd want to have a contract in everything you're doing. Just and because a contract, don't think of a contract as like this is. I think a lot of times I know for me contracts always seem like that's the greedy piece of paper I get that the big corporation hands to me and I sign away my rights. That's not what a contract is for. A contract really is an agreement that's written down and protects both parties. So don't be afraid of a contract. And that's why I've been so happy to actually like have our own contract that we sent out, that we wrote, because it's like I said, it's that confidence of like, I know what's in this contract. I sent it to them. I'm happy to sign that contract whenever they're ready to sign it themselves. And it's like, and if you're keeping it fair, and that, I mean, that's where I've seen, I mean, that's, the contract is powerful, and that's where they've been abused, and that's why it's important to read them. And a lot of times the language gets out of hand. But remember, if you're doing freelance work, then you have, and they hand you a contract, or they give you a contract, read it and have asked to have things clarified. If you don't like something in a contract, say, hey, I don't like the way this is written. Can I get this simplified or get this reworked? You have that right. Take advantage of that. That's something that you have the ability to do, because you shouldn't sign anything. You shouldn't feel like you should be forced to sign anything, especially if you're a contractor and you're looking to do work for somebody. You shouldn't feel that you have, because you're doing them a service that they need. You're not, they're not your boss, they're your client. So there's someone that you're working with. This it's a partnership in a way. It's a relationship that's business. It's so that's why, yeah, having that contract is important. Mixtape Comic says, anything where you're creating IP and giving away your rights, ensure royalties be paid out to you and your rights revert to your heirs upon your death. That is important. That is very important. Yeah, look, that's why I think, breaking down the work that you're doing is important, because that's where, like I said, it goes along with the same lesson I was talking about from Warner Brothers. It's slowing down. Slowing down. A lot of times you might get a client that comes in and says, "We need to have this yesterday. We have this as quick as possible." And it's like, well, okay, well, that's not my problem. We'll be happy to take on, but we give us a chance to look at this, to let me look it down, or to break it down, to look at the work we're gonna need to do. I think we can get this done, but it's just fair to have for you to look at it. It also might be, hey, I mean, if you really want this done right, maybe also the opportunity is, maybe you delay what you're doing so that we can get it done. If that's not what you guys want to do, and you guys don't like our timeline, well, then you might need to look for another studio, or you might need someone else to look for. And like I said, it's about being confident to say no, or to just understand that, hey, it just didn't work out. It has nothing to do with it was nothing personal. It was nothing that had to do with you as an artist. It's just how it worked out. And yeah, if you're gonna go into contract work, or you're doing contract work, remember that you are not beholden or enslaved by a client. They do not own you just because you are doing work for them. You're providing a service and professional. If you call up living spaces and request furniture from them, you do not own that delivery man that has come to your door to deliver the couch. You are just a customer. You're a client. And the same works for, yeah, when you're the contractor. That's why contracts are super important. And I'm so glad that mixtape, man, mixtape, you are bringing some awesome recommendations, and listen to mixtape, because she's been doing comics for forever, as long as I've known her, and she's got good advice. She's got a lot of good things to talk about. One of the things I've always wanted to do with this with my streaming is maybe see if I can get some of my other professional friends to come on. I don't really have a setup to do that right now. I'd hate to have to bring in like friends and bring them into our house, because I'm in my bedroom office right now, and I don't think that'd be a great thing. But it'd be great to kind of bring some friends on to just talk about their professional stories. That's one of the cool things about in the industry is like when you talk to everyone, everyone has a different story about how they got into the industry, whether it's in games, comics, animation, and that's kind of cool because it's um, it shows that there's no right or wrong way to get into the field you're passionate about. And it's cool to kind of hear everyone's stories about where they go to school because everyone's gone to different places and has different experiences, and that's really cool because that's what I think makes the industry stronger. Everyone having those different points of view and different backgrounds just makes for better content, makes for better shows, makes for better cartoons. Everyone's got a unique point of view and a unique perspective, and it brings ideas, it brings things to the table that you can't just have one idea just constantly. You want to have one. You want to have it's one point of view is good for pushing something in the right direction, but lots of points of view are good for solving the problems that show up in production and stuff. And that's just a good way. It's just awesome. It's just awesome all around. It's all awesome. Ah, come on, keyboard. There we go. My control key is really is really getting finicky. I think it's from um I think it's an old keyboard. I definitely need a new keyboard. But it's definitely getting sticky. Like I'll press it and then sometimes it doesn't want to unpress, and it's from so many undos. I think that's what's that's what's making it go bad. Let's see here. Oh, what's going on? TR the animator. What is going on? Legal advice with Bill. Love it. Don't take don't please don't take any of this as legal advice. This is more or less like good policy or practices. If you have like a real legal issue, which I don't which most of the people I know who are in the chat don't have. But if you have like a legal issue, don't take this as legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I'll say that as a disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer, but this is more like just good business practices and stuff that I've learned from I got Keratin says I gotta stop working on the computer while eating honey. I'm just a big old bear just eating honey. Bloop, bloop. Let's see here. What else is everyone saying in the chat? Let's see here. Mixtape Comics says, I don't know if there's a Skype, Discord, etc. way for us to stream together, but I'm down if someone wants to Google those tech aspects. Actually, that might be a good idea. With OBS, I could definitely add. We could do like a Discord or like a Google chat. I could bring you on, and then I'd make you like another window. There's my hand, because I can do like a window here. I can't turn my finger the right way. I can do an extra window like on the screen here, or split screen it or something like that. So that would be. I mean, yeah, I'd love to have you on Mixtape Comics. That would be great. Maybe that's something we could set up in the future, because there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it, and it would just be using my OBS capture and adding the window, whatever window you're talking on. I'd put you also on the screen, and then we could chat. We just had to figure out how to do the audio. Maybe we could get you a microphone or something like that. But yeah, that would be great. I would love to do that, and I could figure out some way to set up, because I've got a whole bunch of friends that I'd love to bring on to put on the stream. We could just talk for majority of the time while maybe while a drawing is being done, or I could take myself working on something and that plays in the background while we talk. I think we do that. So let's see here. Mixtape Comics says you have a good mic setup from doing the Ink Pit with Michael Sweater. Well then, Mixtape, let's talk about this. Let's figure something out. I know it's the holidays right now, but we can figure this out. Let's figure out a date, and yeah, let's do a stream together. I think that'd be great. be happy to sit in the background while you work. Well, as I'm discovering from this stream, I can get busy talking. I have barely done any work. I've done 3 drawings. I think this is going to turn into just talk with Bill Drastel. I think that's what it's going to turn into, because I haven't really been doing any work. I've been talking about a lot of art, animation, and working in the industry, but I haven't really been doing much work. But that's okay. That's okay, because I'm having a lot of fun here. You can get busy drawing, or you can get busy streaming. That's what Cartoon says. Yeah, I'll totally contact you, Mixtape, and let's set something up. So hey guys, I think actually I'm gonna call it here. I'm coming up on my hour, and I think I'm pretty good. I talked a lot of good stuff about freelancing, working at Warner Brothers, some of the cool stuff I've learned. I'm gonna add my YouTube channel, but please tell people about this this stream. I love more people getting in here. More questions, that'd be great. To just love more people I get to talk to, the better. I love it. Also, let me know if either through Instagram, or if you follow me on Facebook, either follow me on Facebook or follow me on Instagram. Send me questions. Send me stuff that you want me to talk about. I'm kind of just coming up with topics on my own with Cartoons, but let me know if there's something that, hey, what's your, as long as it's related to art, animation, and working in the industry, send me questions you're interested about. Oh, that's right. Pickle Nick asks, so what's happening with the storyboarding? So here's what happened. A friend of mine on Facebook, Brett Knoll, posted about a storyboarding gig, and Pickle Nick, being awesome, put my name in the comments, and I saw it. So I direct messaged Brent, and it's a storyboard. It's not a freelance, but it's a gig through Starburns. And it's like a commercial or something like that, and it's a short it's a short turnaround. So he said, oh great, yeah, he gave me an email, and I sent it off with my website and resume. So I'm waiting to hear back from that. Although I don't know, I might end up with the problem of I've got too many people looking to get a hold of me, because I've got 2 possible job prospects that are looking really good, that I might hear back from after the holiday. So we'll see what happens. Knock on wood, fingers crossed. There's a show that I'm really excited, I hope I get on. There's another show that would be awesome to get on, and then if this thing pops up, it's like, oh boy, I'm gonna have a big mess of, I have to make a decision. And if anyone knows me, I hate making decisions like that. But yeah, awesome cool things coming my way, awesome cool things coming everyone else's way. This is I have a lot of cool plans I want to do. I'm hoping that if I do get picked up for another job, I want to keep doing streaming, so that might mean I adjust my schedule. Maybe if I do stream, maybe it's going to be something where I bring on a friend and we talk, and it's that sort of thing. So yeah, we'll figure that out. But I definitely want to keep streaming, because I definitely missed this energy, this motivation that I get from it, and it's a lot of fun. So guys, thank you so much for showing up today. Every one of you guys are all the best. You're the best audience. I love having you guys here. I won't be streaming for the rest of this week because of holidays and Thanksgiving. I'm going to be so bloated with turkey and having a lot of fun. But I will be back on Monday, unless something shows up, unless I need to start working. I'll definitely post about it either on Facebook or on Instagram, and we'll find out there's a lot of things floating in the air right now. There's my hand. There's a lot of things floating in the air, and I'm excited. It's exciting time. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and I will see everyone later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.